All right, friends, it is Monday, June 15th, 2026. It has been a hot minute since my last video. I have been intending to make one before now, but sometimes life just gets busy. So I'm glad to be with you today and hope that you enjoy my second tour of the year. Before I start, I do want to say this has been a very, very odd spring here in North Georgia. We had a hard late freeze in the middle of March. Then we had a heat wave. Then we had a lot of rain. Then I think it got hot again. Then it was unseasonably cool. We've had a lot of rain. We went from being in an extreme drought to tons of rain. Then we had a bit of a breather. And now it just feels like we're in some horrible tropical humidity mass. It is not as hot or humid today as it was yesterday, but it's still very humid. There is a good breeze today, so I'm thankful for that, but it's just been very odd. A lot of, a little bit more, I guess, roller coaster type weather, and seemingly not as many sunny days as what we normally would have in the spring, because even when we've not had rain, there's been a lot of overcast days. I would say, I've definitely noticed some things in terms of shrubs and perennials were way ahead of schedule this year. Others were and still are significantly behind compared to previous years. So, you just have to roll with it, but it has made gardening a little bit of a challenge, but that's part of what keeps it interesting, right? So we're just going to jump right in. We're starting in the main front part of my house, and I have done quite a few things differently this year. Some of it is by design. Some of it is budget constraints, because I think, like most everybody else who's middle class, we're all feeling the pinch on multiple fronts. So I tried to be maybe a little bit more strategic as far as selection of annuals. I do not have as many this year, as well as perennials to invest in for the future. So we'll just start right here. I did create a no-dig berm. I previously had pine straw and some pots here, and I'm going to zoom out maybe so you can see a little bit better. As well as there's some landscaping tarp underneath it. But what I did was just to, and let me back up. So when I originally did this 2 years ago, I put down cardboard and then the tarp and then the pine straw. So what I did for this, normally you would put down the cardboard and then the dirt on top of it, and it would break down and hopefully magically be happy. Because some of this is mostly annuals, but I do have 3 perennials here, the butterfly bushes. What I did was just I emptied a lot of my containers and recycled that dirt, which was actually very good dirt, and then just mixed in some soil conditioner, a little compost, and then just, some raised bed soil and some just plain garden dirt. It seems to be working okay. I did cut out holes in the tarp and dug in a little bit. The ground is very hard here, almost rock-like. Plus, I have to watch out because there is a water line that runs into the house, although I wasn't concerned about it here, but I will show you where I was a little bit earlier. But anyway, I felt like this was a good choice for experimenting with a raised no-dig berm, because I knew I was mainly going to put annuals. It is anchored by 2 pink Cascade 2 butterfly bushes, which are very behind from this time last year. Again, this gets a lot of morning sun, I have been wondering today if my tree canopy may be a little thicker compared to years past. It was super sunny this morning, I will say that. But I do think I may look at having some of the tree canopy thinned out this fall if I can. Just because it's not been done in 20 years, and it would definitely be a good thing to do in terms of minimizing branches falling, keeping the house insurance company happy, but also, obviously selfishly, helping the garden out a little bit. So we'll see if that's a possibility. But I did do those. This was supposed to be a cranberry raz butterfly bush that I got at Lowe's. It is not cranberry raz. I did look up on First Edition's website what I think it is. This butterfly bush was clearly mislabeled, right? Grossly mislabeled. But it is a very pretty shade of purple. It seems quite vigorous. It bloomed heavily right after I got it, and it is reloaded. And if we have some sunny days, then I fully expect in a week I'm going to have a bunch of blooms on it. So, I'm not mad about it. I would have preferred to have had cranberry raz, but I do have a black knight butterfly bush here, which I'll talk about in a minute. So, it's okay. The other things that I planted, I did one of my very favorites, the Rockin' Pink Salvia, which is an annual. I always order it from Garden Crossings online. And it is very vigorous. I also ordered some of the blue suede shoes, which the hummingbirds love. My hummingbirds actually love both of these. They love the blue suede shoes and the fuchsia. You can see it's easy for them to get in that. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep zooming in and out. So I think I got 2 of the Rockin' blue suede shoes and 4 or 6 of the speaking of, there was just a hummingbird over in this Rockin' Pink. Sorry, got distracted. I saw movement and I was like, oh my gosh, it is a hummingbird now that I'm talking about it. These should get big, and this is the first time I've ever planted them in the ground. I've always had them in containers, and they get pretty massive in containers. So I'm going to be very disappointed if they do not get humongous in the ground, because supposedly they're supposed to get a lot bigger in the ground. But anyway, I like to have things for my pollinators. So if you're looking for something, they are annuals. I mean, unless you're in South Georgia or, deep South Georgia, or maybe someplace Florida, maybe Texas. I don't know, like South Texas. These are annuals. I'm in 8A, I think. They do not overwinter for me, but I love them, so I buy them every year. I did also get some black and blue salvias from Burpee, and you can see they're tiny. They shipped pretty late May. Of course, I ordered late. But this is the 3rd year I've grown these. The first year I grew them, they were massive. I did nothing to them. I may have fertilized them with Miracle-Gro maybe the second half of the season, but I literally did nothing. I grew them on the other side of the garden, and they were phenomenal. And then I ordered from Burpee last year, and they were duds. They were terrible. Some of them did come on strong the second half of the summer, but overall, compared to what they were, it was very disappointing. And I started last year's batch where I had the previous years, and they'd been successful, and they were dying, and nothing really had changed. So I moved them to this side of the garden, and like I said, second half they took off. There's no discernible difference. I actually think they should have done well where they were the first time, but they didn't. So anyway, we'll see how they do. They did come looking very good, and I think, again, if we could just get some sunny days, I think, hopefully they're going to take off. I did just get today an order of the Miracle-Gro Bloom Booster, and I plan to fertilize tomorrow. I did 2 or 3 weeks ago use the Proven Winners water-soluble fertilizer. I have used that twice now this season, and I am underwhelmed. I It's supposed to be great. It's not working for my garden. So I just got my tried and true Miracle-Gro Bloom Booster. It always does great for me. And all of my annuals and even a few of my perennials, they're all going to get a good feeding tomorrow. I will say, especially if you're growing in containers, you really do have to feed every 7 to 14 days. Nobody enjoys it, but if you want the constant blooms and growth, you have to do it. So, the other things that I have, and as I walk around, you'll see it in a minute, I did get some annual purple fountain grass. They had it in small containers from Proven Winners, I think at Lowe's, So, I got a couple of those just to sort of try to fill in. In my mind, I feel like, in another month, this should all look very full and lush, but, we'll see. The other thing that's different this year, not different, I grew this sweet potato vine, Sweet Caroline, mahogany something. I got some from Proven Winners, and I actually saw some, I think, at Lowe's. Again, they had some of the $5.99, whatever, Proven Winners containers. So I cannot tell a difference between the one I got locally and the ones that I ordered from Garden Crossings. I had already ordered the ones from Garden Crossings when I found them locally. It would really be nice if you knew you could count on the same stock from year to year at your local big box stores. And not that that's always like your favorite place to shop, but it's surprising to me, or maybe it shouldn't be, but as big as my county is, we really don't have what I would call any outstanding local growers. There are some. I have tried some of them this year, and I really have not been impressed at all. If you are blessed with a local nursery that has really good service and really good quality plants at a good price point, consider that a blessing. With that said, though, it looks great. I also have, trying for the first time, unplugged pink salvia. I saw this combo in Bruce Duncan's garden. If you follow S&K Nursery Greenhouse on YouTube, Bruce is a frequent guest. And I saw this. He had this actually in his vegetable garden, and I loved it and wanted to try it. So I think it looks spectacular. I will say, though, I really do not see any difference between the unplugged pink salvia and the rockin' fuchsia. There might be a very slight difference in color. I feel like the unplugged maybe has more of a purple tone, whereas the rockin' fuchsia, and my camera's probably not picking up, it's a little bit more of a hot pink. I think their growth habit is supposed to be similar. We'll see at the end of the season if there's a favorite, or if I decide I like both of them equally. But so far, this has been a standout in the garden. It's been a rock star. Not much else has really changed over here. The double play doozy, this one did not do well last year, probably because I had a ton of salvia here. It has done much better this year, which, is not surprising. I think it's first year they sleep, second year they creep, third year they leap. This is year 2. It was covered in blooms, but obviously that's past. They're supposedly supposed to repeat bloom. We shall see. All right, let's talk about this Black Knight butterfly bush. It's gorgeous. The blooms, and it smells wonderful. They start out really dark purple and then kind of fade more to this light lavender. And they tend to be, pretty massive. And you can see some of these stalks are pretty large. I did cut it back. I thought I pruned it correctly. In hindsight, I'm not sure if I did prune it correctly. It's just kind of a hot mess. And obviously this huge gap in the middle is not super attractive. Yeah, I'm not sure about the growth habit. Or again, this may be one that it would be a better fit for being planted in the ground and not in a raised bed. So I don't want to diss on the plant too much. But you know, we'll see. I know out in the wild, I've seen them, they do get pretty large. Maybe right now too, again, we've not had a lot of sun, so that may be why it's also a bit leggy. It may not just be my pruning, but it is very leggy. So we'll see what happens. You can see, like, it's definitely kind of growing in this direction. So, you know, like looking for the sun, maybe as the summer wears on, you know, it's going to turn and it's fall, you know, because my house for sure, I face the west, and I definitely see a very marked difference in the patterns of where sunlight hits at certain points throughout the entire year, including the summer. So we'll see. My strawberry vanilla hydrangea is starting to bloom. This is also year 2 for it. I probably won't see any pink because, again, you know, it's hot and humid here in the south, so we don't get a lot of pretty pink with you know, a lot of the panicles. But it is definitely put on a lot of growth from this time last year. So hopefully it will put on a show here very soon. It seems to be kicking in. Again, I think if we could just get some sunny days, that would be great. Before I come here, let me work back to this side. And if you're still with me at this point, thank you. This is a combo of butterfly bushes. I think I got all of these from Burpee 2 years ago. They did not do so great last year, but they put on a lot of growth. I think there's a Miss Molly's, maybe something called Prince Charming. I'm not sure. I have the tags, but I don't feel like looking right now. But these have been blooming pretty nicely, so, you know, that's been a nice surprise. This is my old Home Depot bush from 6 years ago. I have 2 of these. The other one's on my back deck. It is the most reliable rose ever. I want to say it's called, I never can remember the name, Olympiad or Sweet Spirit. It is from Star Roses. It was purchased at Home Depot, but it is from Star Roses. I'll have to look at it. It's either Olympiad or Sweet Spirit. It smells incredible. Blooms nonstop when there's sun. So far, the Japanese beetles have not appeared. They are normally here by now, knock on wood. You know, eating everything up. I have really scaled back my roses, by the way, this year. I feel like I just do not get enough full sun to keep most of them happy. And so I have really moved away from that. And that's what I started with years ago, rose gardening. And I still love roses, but I just do not have the right amount of sun for the ones that I love. You can see here, this is an old Wallerton Hall. This is a David Austin rose. It did great last year, and you can see it's looking pretty pitiful. I had a nice small flush in the spring, nothing like last year. I could not tell you what the difference is. I don't know. So we'll see. Maybe it'll rebound in the fall. I do think over the winter I'm going to make sure I do more soil conditioner and compost, and hopefully see if that maybe makes a difference for next year. Again, I do think the amount of sun is a factor, because even this rose bush is not nowhere as vigorous as it normally would be at this time. So we'll see. I think this is a Bobo hydrangea. Last year I pruned all of them pretty incorrectly. This year I think that I have done everything right. Because my other Bobos are they're all getting ready to bloom, and they seem to be mostly loaded. This one, I think it's going to be fine here. Would it be happier with a little more sun? Probably. But it does well enough that I'm okay with it here. This is a beautyberry bush that I got on clearance a year ago at this time from Bluestone Perennials. It was a tiny little twig when it came. It has definitely put on the growth. I am thinking about transplanting it somewhere into the ground. And I have a spot maybe scoped out, but I haven't decided for sure. But right now it's very happy here, and it will be gorgeous in the fall. It does little tiny purple berries. Again, I've only had this a year, but I already love it, and would not mind maybe getting some more if you like shrubs. Okay, so you can see we have the barn. Oh, some other things that have changed. I moved this snow sprite cedar here. 2 years later, have I trained up a leader on it? No. I really do need to get that done because otherwise that's just going to be a flopping hot mess. But even without having the leader trained up, it's still very pretty. But hopefully by the next time I make a video, I will have it done finally. Forever Goldie, this arborvitae, I love it. Again, also inspired by Bruce Duncan in North Carolina. Gosh, it's so pretty. I just love it. I have another one. Oh, actually I have two more, and you'll see those in just a minute. Okay, let's keep moving. All right, so over here, this was a honeysuckle whose name escapes me right now, but I got this from Burpee last year, and it did not do very much last year, and actually I didn't even think it was going to survive the winter. I thought this was an annual variety, but it is going nuts. And where are you? There's a bloom, but I can't quite get to the vine. I don't want to break it. The blooms are gorgeous. They're like hot pink and yellow. It doesn't really smell that good to me like a normal honeysuckle, but the blooms are so pretty. I don't mind. And now it's like, because these are bending over, a lot of growth. It's just like a rose bush. If you have them horizontal, the canes will break out, new growth. Hopefully that's what's going to happen here. I also planted some purple hyacinth bean vines from seed. I got from a lady on Etsy. Again, our weather certainly has not been conducive to it, but they are coming along. And in fact, I need to continue to train. I've got another one elsewhere, and once you just kind of put them on here, they start wrapping up themselves. So we'll see if this is enough sun for them. Hopefully it is. Another double play doozy. This thing was loaded in buds, and then it got buds and tons of new growth, and it got nipped bad by that hard freeze in March. It is just now rebounding. I do like, it's cascading. When it does have blooms, it's beautiful. Again, it may be that I just don't have this in a place where it gets enough sun to be its true, fully blooming self. But last year it did well here, so we'll see how it looks later in the summer. I'm happy to report my fountain is functioning properly. The pump motor survived the winter. I mean, I had it packed up this season as well as the previous, but the motor died early on last year, and it was a while before I found one that would work. But knock on wood, my fountain is working great. You can see some more of the rockin' fuchsia and the purple fountain grass. That's midnight pearls or onyx and pearls, penstemon. That was really pretty. Not as vigorous this year as last year. Again, I think the odd weather has been a big factor. All right, this is a Gatsby pink. I bought it from Garden Crossings. I've seen it in everybody's gardens on YouTube, and I am so in love with this oak leaf hydrangea. And of course, oak leaf hydrangeas are gorgeous in the fall, and including here in the south, because they turn color, the leaves turn colors just like an oak tree would, like shades of red. So, the blooms are gorgeous. I got this for really kind of seasonal color. It has already doubled in size. I got a little tiny one from Garden Crossings, because by the time I ordered, they were sold out of the gallons. Plus, it's more economical to do the smaller ones. But it is already doubled in size. So if you're thinking about buying a Gatsby Pink, save yourself some money and get 2 for the price of 1, because it will grow. These have only been in the ground a month maybe. And again, I've made like a little mini berm. It looks weird now, but once this fills in, it's going to bush out and take all this space here. I have a Tough Stuff Top Fun hydrangea I still need to pot up. So this certainly is not the time of year to be doing it now, but it is what it is because it just came 2 weeks ago. I'm not for sure I'm going to put it. I did put it here because it was getting scalded where it was. I also have, let's see, the butterfly, whirling butterfly. 2 of these made it from last year. I bought a third one just to fill it back in. I have no rhyme or reason why some make it and some don't. There were 4 in the same pot. Half of them made it, half did not. But this is one of my favorite flowers too. It was blooming like crazy a few weeks ago. It's reloading. That is a really nice way to add movement and color to your garden. I love the dark pink. There's other colors too, but I personally think the dark pink is just gorgeous. As I mentioned earlier, my Arizona Carolina cypress got transplanted. When I bought this tree, I bought it because I thought it was gorgeous. I did not realize that they are prone to breaking very easily. It has been transplanted in the middle of the winter here. It has survived being transplanted and fertilizer burn. I used Espoma fertilizer for conifers. I will never use it again because it burned half my conifers, and I know that I did it correctly. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a stronger formulation than what I used to use. I will not use it again though. But it's recovering, so grace in the garden. Is this a lemon gold something? I forget. This is some type of cypress shrub. This was teeny tiny when I got it. Something mop head. Sorry, my brain is fuzzy today. But this has tripled in size from 2 years ago. Knock on wood, it's very happy here, so that's good. All right, let's talk about Blue Boa Hummingbird Mint. This, again, very leggy. Most of it didn't make it from last year. I'd had some that I had 2 or 3 years here, and I lost them. Again, I don't know if it was a late hard freeze or what. I normally leave the leaves in the container to help insulate them, and I normally have not had problems with the crowns rotting, but I think that's what happened. Not only did that, and almost all of my Queen Nectarine hummingbird mint. Queen Nectarine is supposed to be perennial, folks. Honestly, I think unless you're in like zone 8B or 9, I think it's more of an annual. If you're doing it in containers. Now, if it's in the ground, that might be another story. Although I think you're going to run into the same issue, is that it's very susceptible to crown rot over the winter. So if you get a lot of rain in the winter, I don't know. But, and you can see it's leggy. And again, I think it's because we've just not had that many sunny days compared to what we normally get. So, but there's a lot of new growth coming out, so I'm hopeful. The butterflies love it. I love it. We'll see what happens. My Dragon's Breath has been interesting. I've never bought it this early like I did this year. It has definitely been beat up on by the rains. So, I just don't know. I don't know if it's good to plant it this early here where I'm at or not. But I do love the punch of color. And usually I get it in June from Lowe's. That's where I've found it in the past, like big pots of it or like a hanging basket, and I just get the whole thing and plant it. I have been out of town for the last week, so I've not obviously been to the garden center, but I do need to go look. I wouldn't mind getting a pot just to kind of reinforce in case this peters out, but we'll see. I forget what this Rebecca is called. It's from Bluestone Perennials. Again, it's normally already blooming by now. You know, it's not. It's going to. I mean, there's definitely buds, but everything's just, a lot of things are really late this year. All right, I'm talking way too much. Little Lime hydrangea getting ready to bloom. Again, behind schedule. This Blue Fortune hummingbird mint, this is like one plant, I think, and I'd had it in a little pot for the last 2 years because I'd run out of places to put it, and I finally transplanted it, and boy, is it happy. But again, Blue Fortune is normally in full swing at this point, like super big and lush, and it's starting to bloom now, all of them, but you'll see as we go to the garden, all the locations, they are nowhere as robust as what I've had in the past. So I don't know what to think about that. Sorry for my air conditioner unit. This is Megapunk Celosia that I have grown from seed. All I did was just put it in there. I didn't do anything fancy. I got this from Select Seeds, and I planted it kind of maybe late. I don't know. But this is taking off. I probably should thin it out, but I'm not going to. So we'll see what it looks like. It's similar to Dragon's Breath. I'm curious to see, what it's going to look like full grown. Last year, my Dragon's Breath self-seeded. This year, it did not. So, I don't know what to say. This is another same shrub that you saw earlier. It's looking awesome, continuing to get big and bushy. I think I have 3 of these overall. Something lemon, something cypress. Another Gatsby Pink. This one is slightly less vigorous than the other one, probably because it doesn't get quite as much sun, but it is doing great. Then we have the Invincible Blush Pink. This looked amazing at first and then got completely assaulted by the rain, and this has been blooming now almost a month, so the blooms are a bit faded, but they're still pretty. It's flopping, but it's still pretty. I did not stake this one up just because it is kind of resting here. So, this is the Lime Sublime, Invincible Sublime, I think. And it looks like it's going to put on a show soon. Some hosta, another Incredible Pink. I'm thinking, actually, I thought this had died over the winter, so I'm actually amazed anything's happening. I'm going to give it another year here and see what happens. If it's still kind of behind the others, then I will move it to get more sun. I do feel like it's a bit of a challenge with the Invincible Blush here because they do like sun, I think, but they can also scorch easily, so we'll see. Some Sun Patience from a big box store locally. Struggled at first, but now coming into its own. Another, I think I showed you my Japanese maple in my last video. I've got to get it potted up. Another Snow Sprite Cedar. This one obviously is a little bit more vigorous than the other, probably because of the amount of sun, but also it probably helps that the leader self-established it on its own for the tree. This is my this one I bought as a gallon. The other 2 were like little quart sizes. And you can see, there is a difference. I have woefully tried to stake this up. Otherwise, everything would be broken off. Again, that same big rain, it did a number on this. It looked so, so pretty before it got hammered a couple of weeks ago. This is a little bit truer to how it normally looks. It was a little bit brighter pink. Not hot pink, but just more vivid. But I think it looks pretty even faded. Supposedly this might rebloom for fall. I am going to trim the blooms off and dry them, and then just see if I might get a second flush later. But I'm going to leave them on a few more weeks, I think. I don't know, we'll see. But it's very pretty. I do like this hydrangea. 2 Arctic salvias, I think fuchsia and purple. This is another type of arborvitae. I thought it was dead, and then it came back last year. It seems to be doing a little bit better. I can't bring myself to throw it out, so here it is. My Pugster butterfly bushes, 2 of them are doing better than I've ever seen them. So this is Pugster purple. This thing has been loaded in buds. Again, I could not tell you what the difference is at all. I did scoot it up slightly. It might get a little bit more sun than what it normally does, but not much. Who knows? I've got some Blue Fortune and some other type of salvia here. I forget what, but I lost my Royal Raspberry. And I've kind of tinkered around and kind of waited too late to order any now. So that will be on the priority list for next year. I like Royal Raspberry a lot. Another Pugster, no, not Pugster, Cascade, Pink Cascade. This one's getting ready to bloom. Doing better than I thought it would because it probably would like a little more sun, but it's doing fine. I will say this one and my other giant one that I'm going to show you in a minute, these are Pink Cascades 1. The others that you saw are Pink Cascade 2. Supposedly 2 is more vigorous. I don't think so. The Pink Cascade 1s I feel like do much better than the Pink Cascade 2. Assorted hummingbird mint. Some of these came from Select Seeds. It's called licorice. I can't remember. Not all of my Select Seeds hummingbird mints overwintered. Some of them were definitely very zone sensitive, but these did. And my Purple Haze. The hummingbirds really like this one. So this is coming along. And then my Pride and Joy Pink Cascade. And I feel like my camera is not really capturing it very well. But y'all, look at this. If you're still with me, this is why you stay. This thing is so gorgeous. It's just starting to bloom. It did bloom earlier last year. Again, just weird weather this year. This is Funky Fuchsia. I highly recommend. This is a very vigorous butterfly bush, but manageable. Will bloom nonstop. Look at that. This is similar to Cranberry Raz if you like this hot pink color. And Miss Molly, I do feel like the shrub aspect of it is prettier than Miss Molly. All right, this is new this year also from Lowe's, an Eclipse Hydrangea. It is flopped over because of the rain. I'm interested to see how it does. People seem to either love or hate this hydrangea. I do think it's happy here. The dark leaves are appealing to me. Very different. We'll see. There's a little bit of a Stilby. And again, I think this is Midnight Masquerade and Onyx and Pearls Penstemon. One of them was pink like I have over there. The other was white. I did not really like the white. So I might be transplanting these and putting something showier here for next year. I got these. I grew this last year. I forget what it's called. It did a lot better for me last year, but again, I think the lack of sun is a problem. And I forget what this coleus is called. Not Inferno, but it was on sale. I needed a coleus, so I got it. This is Inferno. And these came from Burpee. They looked very good when they arrived. They didn't do anything for the first couple of weeks, but again, we've had a lot of rain. If we could just get some more sun cranked, then I think in a month this bed's gonna look very different. I just planted the black and blue salvia. Again, came small but looked very good from Burpee. So I'm hopeful that just like year one, black and blue salvia is going to be a winner here. I think it's going to look really pretty with the Inferno here. So yeah, I think that's going to look good. Let's see, this is Little Lime Punch. It's getting ready to bloom. It's not a huge hydrangea, but it is, it's a reliable, it's pretty. This is year 3 for this Rebecca. My Purple Haze does not seem as vigorous as it did the previous 2 years. Again, I don't know if it was the winter. All of my hummingbird mint seems to not be quite as vigorous, and I've never experienced that. So it's hard for me to know right now, was it the winter and the weather we had, including that late freeze, or is it something like, do I need to divide them? I don't know yet. This is Purple Cascade. This did nothing for me the first year. Last year, this was pretty reliable, vigorous. It's by itself this year, so in a container, very pretty. If you like pink Cascade, you'll also like purple. I do think pink is more vigorous, but the purple is really pretty too. Another Forever Goldie Arbor Vitae, doing well here. I would like to put it in the ground. I'm a little concerned it might not thrive as well in the ground as the container because of all the shade here from Big Bertha. So we'll see. All right, this is the Butterfly Candy Lilac butterfly bush. This was a rock star for me the first 2 years. It is struggling this year. She's not in danger, but just not where she was. Again, I'd like to think that it's weather. Same for the lilac pugster. This normally is very vigorous. This is nowhere the size that it has been in the past. So again, let's see where we're at in a month, because this area will get more sun later in the summer. I've got some, I think this is Pink Pearl Hummingbird Mint. This was sent to me by mistake from Select Seeds. And they were very gracious and let me keep it and sent what I'd actually ordered, which is Belicious Pink, and I'll show you that in a minute. I went and planted just to see what it would do. And then, of course, Fat Albert, my favorite conifer. I love this tree so much. My hibiscus Summerific. Whatever bugs like to eat them, yes, they're here. I don't want to spray, so we'll see. Last year it was over here. It did great. Again, it got eaten up, but the blooms were gorgeous. This is the earliest that it has budded out. It does feel a little stunted right now, though. So again, I think the lack of sun has been an issue. All right, here in the middle, I forget. Let's see, what is this one called? New Look. Celosia. I thought I would try that too because it seems similar to Dragon's Breath. Again, hasn't really grown a lot. I'm hoping with the Miracle Grow Bloom Booster, everybody's going to take off here if we maybe between that and some more sun. There's some more of the Pink Pearl Hummingbird Mint. Then there are these gigantic Rebecca, which even if these were on the ground, they're very leggy. I will say I absolutely adore Rebecca. I am not crazy about this, but I am going to ride it out and see how I feel at the end of the season. All right, some more. This is new Gene Phlox mixed in with some more of the Pink Pearl Hummingbird Mint because, why not? This you can see is just wrapping itself right on up the trellis. So that's cool. Some more Gene Phlox, and then this Gene Phlox is established. And my Gene Phlox here, it did not get this tall last year, so this has been a little bit of a surprise to me. The butterflies loved this last year, so that's why I got some more Gene, and I got it on sale half off from Bluestone. So hopefully, the butterflies will be here soon. I've seen a few here and there, but I've not seen a ton yet. But it's a little. Again, I think last year was later in the summer. And then I had an extra black and blue salvia, so I tucked it in here. Again, if we could just get some sun, plus throw on some of the Miracle Grow Bloom Booster, then I think we'll be in business. All right, this pot normally is one of the very first things to bloom. It has been one of the last. Again, I really think that late hard freeze and the weather are a huge factor. This hollyhock has overtaken the pot. My queen nectarine I'd had in it for 2 or 3 years appears to be gone. Not sure I love this hollyhock. And I did photograph it with a plant ID to make sure, because I actually thought maybe a weed had crept in here. But it says it's hollyhock. Doesn't look like it to me. We'll see what it does. If it doesn't perform, this is the 3rd year, and it's not been great any of those years. It's been okay, but not wow. But it did not look like this in the past. And that's why I'm questioning what is going on. It may be shovel pruned early. We'll see. Blue Fortune. This is the least vigorous I've ever seen it. Again, I just don't really know what to say. Some more Rudbeckia. I forget what this is called. Autumn Rudbeckia, I think. It gets pretty large. This is its second year. Again, if we could get some sun, I think it's going to bloom. There's another type of hollyhock in here that a lot of leaves but no blooms. It's supposed to be dark, almost black. I really hope I actually get to see some blooms. I planted it last year. It didn't do anything. We'll see this year if it does anything. Yeah. And then Blue Fortune. Okay, let's go around this way. And I'm going to be like Bruce, Duncan, and Justin from S&K. I'm going to give my Forever Goldie a hug. Hug for growth. Again, I also want to say this is not the garden I envisioned for this year. This is very different from last year. I feel like by the end of the summer, I'm going to be very happy with my design choices. But right now, you know, it's just feeling a little yeah, I'm not crazy about those super tall Rudbeckia either. Those are probably going to come out for sure before the summer's over. But we'll see. I might transplant them somewhere else if I could find a spot where I think they'd be happy and not look bizarre. But you know, some years are like that, right? All right, the rain making my little lit deer want to fall over. I need to restake her. So I moved my wheelbarrow. If you follow me, you know the wheelbarrow is normally there. This was our old family wheelbarrow. I know my mom and dad had it. It may have belonged to my great grandmother. I can't remember. The sedum is probably angry with me because it was much happier over there, a lot more sun, but there's a lot of afternoon sun. Normally this has already bloomed. Again, though, the hard freeze may have been a factor. It's just really hard to know. But the potato vine seems to be loving life here. I've also got some polka dot plant. This is the first time I've grown it. I was thinking with the pink sedum, you know, this would be a nice color combo. We'll see. I tried super petunias in here last year, and they just did not do well for me. So, all right, let's keep going. All right, Japanese maples. I think this is, I can never remember. Red Dragon? Yes, Red Dragon. And this thing was a little stick when I got it on clearance 2 years ago. It has really come a long way. So I'm very pleased with that. Then some impatiens here. I got these super cheap for like $1.50 each. I really wanted to do coleus, but the price was right. And I actually like the punch of color, and I like how it's filling in. So I'm cool with it. Oops. This is, I think, my Queen Emperor. Crimson Queen. Crimson Queen. Japanese maple. She has also really taken off this year. They are very happy here flanking the barrels. This is not where they've been. I moved them here last fall. So that was a good thing to do for sure. The right move. They're much happier here. They get enough sun to grow, but enough shade to not fry. These are new additions. Last year I had blue boa, hummingbird mint, and some David Austin roses. The blue boa, none of it made it. And the David Austin rose, like a lot of mine, they do great the first year or two, and then just... So, we're going to try these Invincible hydrangeas. I know this is Invincible lace, and this I did get the gallon size. I cannot remember. I think these are Invincible Spirit, and Spirit, I think. I cannot remember. Spirit 2. And I got the smaller ones in those, more economical. We'll see how they do here. I see people growing them in part shade. This does get morning sun, so again, patience will be a virtue, especially with the smaller ones. So, you know, I think you just have to know that even if you get a large hydrangea, like a gallon or 3 gallon, you know, they're just, it takes time with shrubs, that 3-year rule. All right, I'm sorry, I'm distracted because I am seeing a deer across the street. We used to have deer on this road all the time. I've lived here on this road for over 40 years. Used to see deer all the time. We have these idiots across the street that four-wheel and make all kinds of noise. But look, we've got a mama deer and at least one fawn. I can't zoom in any more than that. I think baby fawn might be feeding, getting a little milk from mama. There could be two. I feel like I see two. Sorry. I'm very distracted right now, but look, y'all, I think it's just magical. And this is a rural road. You would think, I mean, like I said, 40 years ago, there were deer here like there was no tomorrow, deer and turkeys. And in the last 15 years, those sightings have been, I couldn't even tell you the last time I saw a turkey. We used to have whole, flocks of them. They were few and far between. And this is the first time I've seen a deer in about 3 years here. They used to run just out and through that pasture there past the barn, but now those people have every animal under the sun, and so I think it kind of scares them off. Oh yeah, there's two fawns. Oh. All right, stay safe, babies. Okay, all right. So, little bonus, if you have stuck around this long for this very long and rambling garden tour, I think that's it for this area. So, let's walk around. Again, it's a mess. I'm having my yard mowed tomorrow, such as my yard is. My pine straw mulch looked gorgeous the other day, not so much now. All right, so this is kind of a mixed thing. I mentioned earlier that I was repurposing dirt from pots to do my berm. Well, here's a pot that got repurposed and then not refilled. I do want to put something here. I may put that hydrangea, the other top. Here, let's see what they're called, because I put this one here. Again, these blooms have kind of petered out. This is supposed to be reblooming, by the way. Oh, Tough Stuff Top Fun. I would not mind putting another one here, but I've got to get some more dirt to pot it up. Year 3, Green Giant Arborvitae. I bought it tiny. Bought this one tiny too. Dwarf Alberta, I think. This is a pink viburnum. It has not bloomed, and I don't know when. I've had it 2 years now. And I'm now wondering, do I have to have another viburnum for it to be fertilized? Like, I'll see hints of blooms and then nothing or very little. Maybe it needs more sun. Maybe it needs another viburnum. I need to research that. Another Forever Goldie Arborvitae. Probably not the best spot, not enough sun, but I like it here. This is a Bloodgood maple I bought last year. Got a really good price on it. Thought it had died over the winter. I was sure it was dead and was amazed when it leafed out. And it looks great. It looks just as gorgeous as it did last year, and it's a little bit bigger. We have another, this is a new variety of a potato vine from Proven Winners. The name escapes me right now. Has a very different look from the other. I like the color. So we'll see how that does. Some more Inferno Coleus. And then some Roman Red Salvia, which just got here about a week and a half ago from Burpee. These have been planted very late. They're very small. They're obviously late seedlings. However, that might mean lots of nice color for me in the fall. I had red Roman Salvia over here on this side of the garden last year, and it did fine. It can take some shade. So, these are behind, but hopefully with some sun and the Miracle-Gro Bloom Booster, the next time I have a video for you, this is going to be a different story, especially with the salvia. I'm finally trying El Brido Coleus this year. These are supposedly self-watering pots. These are Proven Winners. I got these on sale. at a very good price. However, these pots are not self-watering, or if they are, they're not functioning, because the wilt on these every day has been insane. And I was really hoping to just leave them in these pots. That's not going to happen. So I'm going to need to fill up the barrel and get these potted up probably in this week, or I'm going to lose them because I know we've got a lot more heat and worse heat and humidity to come. They have perked up. I watered them about 2 hours ago, but yeah, they definitely need to get these. Still, self-watering pots are not self-watering. So, and by that, it's supposed to have a reservoir to keep them from drying out and having heat wilt, and obviously, that's not happening. So, I'm going to get these potted up, and hopefully, again, the next time you see them, they're going to be going to town. I've grown coleus over here, all varieties, and not had problems. So, it's not the location. It's these supposedly self-watering pots. Repeating the other pot, Inferno, Roman Red Salvia, whatever this potato vine is. Carotia, I think. This didn't do anything last year, but probably because it was swallowed up by some giant dipped in wine coleus. I wasn't sure. I was surprised that it made it over the winter, and then I wasn't sure what to think about it. But I kind of like it. It would look better probably if something else was in it, but I'm going to just let it be by itself and see how big it might get in the next year, and see if it's worth it to let it stand alone or if it might need a companion next year. This is another Bloodgood maple that I moved over east to sit here because it is in pots. We had a lot of bad wind in the spring. This does tend to blow over, so unfortunately, I've had to kind of anchor it with some of these other planters a little bit. I may finally bite the bullet and get it in the ground. I've just held off because I haven't been 100% sure about the location. By the way, that's the other Brido. It has rebounded some. It also got beat up by the storm yesterday too, a little bit though. But yeah, those have got to come out, and probably that's a job for tomorrow. Get them out of those pots, get them watered, and then in a couple of days give them some bloom booster, because coleus like that too, even though you're not growing them for the blooms. My Vanderwolf pine is very happy over here. This is another weeping, I think, type of cedar. I forget what this one's called. This is the second year I've had it. And then some more Bobo hydrangeas. Again, I think I pruned them correctly this time. I got tons of buds, so just, come on, sunshine, make everybody happy. And then this is a Camilla. It's supposed to be able to take shade. It bloomed last summer. I'm not sure. I feel like maybe it needs more sun, so that may be getting moved down here. And then I thought I'd gotten rid of this smoke bush, but apparently not, and it's coming back, so I'm just letting it kind of do its thing. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep it or not. It really needs a sunnier location, but I don't have one. But right now, it's not terrible. Obviously, you can see I need to weed eat. It's a constant challenge, keeping the weeds at bay when you live next to woodsy areas. So you can see these are some more supposedly self-watering pots. These Impatiens and Elephant Ears, bless them. The heat wilt thing is a real struggle. And even this one, this is in shade almost all day. And by 1 o'clock, it is wilting from the heat. So these are going to have to get into a bigger pot. There's just no way around it. And it makes me kind of sad because I wanted to have these nice low pots here. But I have some low barrels that I had emptied, so I guess I'll be filling them back up. This is not a Fat Albert. This is just a straight Colorado blue spruce. I think it's happy here. It used to be over there, and again, kind of kept getting tipped over. It was getting a lot of wind. I felt like getting beat up by the winds. This is a little bit more sheltered here. So, yeah, it seems okay here so far. Sometimes I will say with conifers, it's hard to judge how much to water when you have them in containers like this. So you constantly just have to check the moisture of the soil. This does get 4 or 5 hours of really intense sun from about 1 to 4, 12 to 4. Excuse me, maybe sometimes 11. Again, it depends on where we're at in the summer. This is Joe Pye weed. I thought none of it made it. I literally thought none of this had made it. I actually had dug up and tilled whatever, this little raised bed, and was trying to decide what I wanted to plant, and then it all came back. I mean, literally, it seemed dead. Like the plants looked dead. I pulled them up, tilled it over. Most of them didn't even come back up. I have no idea how this happened. None. But I am very happy because I like this Joe Pye weed, and the pollinators love it. So that was a happy surprise. There have been a lot of not so happy surprises with the garden this year, but this has been a good one. This maple used to be up there. Again, I moved it because it has gotten huge. This is another bloodgood. It really needs to probably come out of this container. Yeah. I'm just not 100% sure where I want to put it. It does seem to like being here. My only reservation is that I had trouble with my home insurance company this year about another tree that really was not that big, but because it was close to the house, I had to pay to have it removed. And I don't want to plant this here and then have my home insurance company come at me in 5 years and say, oh, you got to cut it back or whatever because it's too close to the house. So the jury's out on that. I moved. This was also, again, you see I had 4, the Florida Alyssum, Banana Alyssum. These were all over there. So I did a lot of switching, which was not pleasant, but I like this actually better. I think this looks good. My dead leaves and my weeds don't so much, and the grass that needs to be mowed, which will happen tomorrow, but I like the color combination. And the Joe Pye weed will all be pink, so I think that's going to look good. Last year I had coleus over here. Again, this year I could not justify spending, and not that it was terrible, outrageous, but I just could not justify spending that much money on an annual this year. And this just seemed to be a better value. And it's been, again, I've never grown these impatiens or elephant ears, not as an adult. My grandmother had my great grandmother had one when I was a child, so I'm not like completely unfamiliar, but yeah, it's been a happy little experiment. And I also forgot to point out, this is actually doing almost the best of any of the purple bean vine. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah. One vine's trained itself, the other hasn't. I mean, look at that. So this was my late mother's Atlanta Journal-Constitution paper box. And so I thought, well, that'd be cool if I could get the purple bean vine to kind of come around that. So we'll see if it gets enough sun to actually do that. Again, the weeds have been horrible this year. But I don't want to spray because it's not good for the pollinators. All right, so, and you can see there's another pot of impact. Even in the shade, this thing was like, it looked great at 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, by 1, it looked like it was dead. So, yeah. All right, these are new additions. I just planted these about 2 weeks ago. This is pink dragon wing begonia. Last year I had red gifted to me from a neighbor, so I bought pink this year. And I think I'm going to like the pink as much as the red. And this is with Nuit Noir coleus. I'm hoping that it takes off, because otherwise the begonias are going to take over really fast. I know these are supposed to be able to take shade. I'm wondering a little bit if this is the best place for these. So, not the begonias, but the Nuit Noir coleus, we'll see. I love the color, but I've never grown these. So we'll find out. I've grown other varieties of proven winners without any trouble, so hopefully this will be a good one too. He looks like a hot mess, but Munstead Wood is the most gorgeous rose ever. The fragrance is out of this world. This is the one English rose, no matter what, I will keep. The thorns are horrible and terrifying. The bush does not look that great for me. Again, I think if I maybe moved him where he got more sun, maybe that might be a better fit for him. And I am open to that, but he's been fairly happy here. I did have a bunch of beautiful blooms a few weeks ago. I waited too long to video, and now here we are. Yeah. But anyway, Munstead Wood, if you know, you know. It's just incredible. I think this is Olivia Austin. This is not as vigorous for me as it's been in years past. This is the 5th year I've had it, and this is, it looked gorgeous in the spring. It just wasn't as vigorous. I do think I need to do a better job putting compost and soil conditioner in over the winter to kind of, feed it up. So I plan to actually do that with all of my roses this year. I need to do a better job with that. I did plant some Belicious Pink Hummingbird Mint here. Speaking of, look at this beauty, y'all. They are not shipping anymore for the season, but this Hummingbird Mint is phenomenal. The bees love it. I don't really see the hummingbirds in it. If you like Blue Fortune, you will love Belicious Pink, and I loved it so much I ordered 6 more. Just absolutely stunning. It bloomed. This was the first to bloom. These asters, different varieties I got from Select Seeds last year. Last year they didn't bloom till fall. They're blooming now. I've got some more Belicious Pink that I added here to kind of fill this in. Originally I was thinking about doing Potato Vine here. I still might try that next year if, we'll see. But, again, different asters, Belicious Pink. This is an old raised feeder. I actually ripped out the reservoir and then filled the bottom with sand and then garden dirt and then raised bed dirt. And amazingly, I was shocked. I really was not. I had no expectations for this over the winter, so I was thrilled that stuff made it. Then we've got some more of the Autumn Rebecca. I've tucked in a Roman Red Salvia. We'll see if it makes it. More Belicious Pink. Cranberry Raz. This is what I thought I was getting another one of to go in that berm. It seems to be blooming a little bit late this year, but y'all look. It's a beautiful color of pink, just like Funky Fuchsia. I've got some purple fountain grass here, which I think looks nice against the Belicious Pink. This is Miss Molly. Yeah, a beautiful, very vigorous butterfly bush. I don't think her leaves or her form, I don't know, maybe look quite as pretty as some others, but I still love her. And the butterflies absolutely love her. All right, this is a new Bodacious Salvia, and it's designed to be grown in hanging baskets, but it's doing quite nicely in this urn, if you will. Really nice. I've not seen hummingbirds. Well, I did see one, but I've not really been out in this part of the garden very much so far this season because it's either been too hot or raining all the time. But this is really taken off. These were tiny. I got them for like, I don't know, $3 each. So the price was right. And I had wanted to try this salvia. I got it locally, so there you go. This is, might be a limelight. It's either limelight or little lime. I don't remember. But it's pretty again, but blooming late. Now, this is a Pugster Pinker. This is the best this butterfly bush has ever done for me, just like the Pugster Purple. And it's weird to me. Pugster Pinker and Pugster Purple have struggled for me until this year. And the Lilac Pugster has always been just like incredible. It's flipped this year. The Lilac is struggling. Pugster Purple and Pugster Pinker have been incredible. And I actually just came and deadheaded it. You should have seen this a week ago. The blooms were just phenomenal. This is year 3 for this, whatever, lemon, mop head, something. Cypress. I got this at Pikes. It's not a huge container, but it's doing great. So this is looking good. And then I just added some Roman Red Salvia to the Dragon's Breath, just like the other that I planted early. The flopping has been a little bit problematic. So yeah. And then we've got Blue Fortune. This is year 4 or 5 for these. Got a late start, but they're coming on now. These have definitely been getting more sun. So I will always recommend Blue Fortune. The bees love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I think it looks really nice sorry, it's my neighbor, scared me. The Blue Fortune, and then, you know, you've got the arching conifer here. I forget, what was this one called? I leave my tags on, y'all, and there's a reason why. Oh, it's a Weeping Blue Atlas Cedar. This is the 3rd year I've had that, I think. But it just looks really pretty. You know, you've got like the Belicious pink, and then this. I will probably cut these back in a month, and I can usually get a second flush, which is not as vigorous as the first, but, you know, for a perennial, you know, I'm not going to complain. And again, the bees love it. I decided to give Jacob Klein Bee Balm another try this year. I feel like I might be regretting it. The first year I grew it, it was incredible. I had it out on my back deck. And then I grew it elsewhere the second year, and it didn't do as well in the second year on my deck. It did not do well where I had it in the yard. So I didn't do any bee balm the last 2 years, but I saw this and the price was right. So I thought, well, why not? Again, I do think maybe it's just not has gotten enough sun, all the rain. I don't want to blame the plant completely, but yeah, I'm not really digging on this. So we'll see. I don't want anything too vigorous really right now because I want the Belicious Pink here to get established. Maybe I'll do more Belicious Pink here next year. I don't know. I thought the Jacob Klein Bee Balm would be a good fit because obviously the hummingbirds love it for sure. Butterflies do. I thought, oh, it'd be a nice little punch of color, vivid, you know, with this, but we'll see. Hopefully these Roman red salvias will come on and do well. I thought the Jacob Klein was going to be more vigorous than this. Otherwise, I probably would have put the Roman red salvias there. But live and learn. Plus, again, you just really can't predict, you know, what's going to happen with the garden because of the weather. All right, well, I have rambled on for a little bit over an hour. This is the longest continuous garden tour video I have ever made. If you've stayed this long, I do hope you've enjoyed it, or if you've watched and paused and come back into it, I hope you've seen something that will be helpful to you. I love sharing my garden with others because I get inspired from people on YouTube who share their gardens, whether they're professional, amateurs, somewhere in the middle. You know, I think sharing our love of plants and our, you know, is, they say, our successes and messes. You know, I think that's one of the things I enjoy about the YouTube gardening community. You know, we all get to help and inspire and learn from each other. So, you know, if you're here in North Georgia, zone 8A like I am, or somewhere in the southeast with a similar climate, hopefully there's something here that will help your garden. And I'd love to know, if you are in this area, are you experiencing the same kinds of challenges that I've identified today? Just some things being ahead of schedule, but a lot of things way behind where they normally are because of the kind of crazy weather we've had this spring. Or, you know, is your garden clocking right along? I'd love to hear that if you're in this area. If you're in another part of the country, again, a lot of these things I've shared with you today will grow in a lot of different zones. And if you're growing any of them in another part of the country, I'd love to hear how are they doing for you. Because I know some plants, you know, will do really well in some regions of the country and might be a dud for somebody else elsewhere. So I'd love to hear from you too if you're out there watching and you've seen any plants today that you have in your garden, and then that you either love them or hate them. With that said, I'm sure I've talked way more than enough today, but again, this video has been way overdue, and I did want to give you a tour and talk about some of those challenges, because it has been, again, kind of an odd garden season. And again, what I planted this year, I had a plan. I executed some of the plan, but a lot of the plan changed. Just because, you know, Economics, obviously, I think is a really big challenge that I think needs to be talked more about in our, social media community. How do you garden without breaking the bank and still have a garden you love? But also just trying to think about, being practical, especially if you're doing a lot of container gardening, because it is a lot of work to water, and it's not practical for me to try to run drip irrigation. Plus, I tend to move things around from year to year, so this area has not changed dramatically, but literally, for the most part, there have been some things that are a little different. Oh, one last thing I forgot to mention. Again, everything's just a mess, so please pardon the progress in the air conditioning unit. These loropetalums, this is the third year I've had them, and I nearly lost them. Again, that hard freeze did a number on them, and I still don't know that they're going to make it. I did lose one. I think I had I lost two, and two made it, and I'm not convinced they're going to make it. On the other hand, Kentucky switchgrass, holy cow, y'all, it's never grown. This was one of the first things growing like crazy. Oh gosh, name's on the tip of my tongue. I saw a lot of them at the box stores this year. Shoot. Well, it'll come to me. I did lose one, which I felt like was going to happen. It just did not like the other side. But this one's doing well. It typically does well. It does have some dieback, but nothing terrible. My banana Elysiums also took a big hit from that late freeze, but they seem to be rebounding. But this is different this year. I love these coral impatiens. Again, the price was right. If you can get a plant for $1.50, really anything under $3 each these days, that's a bargain. And they were tiny, but they're coming on, and I think when I hit them with the Miracle-Gro, they're really going to take off. I also I need to remove my paint experiment from now 2 years ago, because I decided not to do that. And I do have some stuff to remove it. I just have to get it done. And then I want to put just like an inexpensive wood trellis against this for just the season. And again, look at the purple bean hyacinth. It's wanting to climb, but I've got to give it something to climb on quickly. I thought that might look nice coming up, to have a little bank of the purple bean hyacinth, because it'll be purple, and then this. So this is another type of loropetalum. It's not the same variety as the others, but it did much better. And it originally was over here, but I moved it. Again, this one, I don't know. Crimson Fire loropetalum, I think it's called. I have a feeling, I don't know. We'll see. If they recover, great. If not, I may put some shade-loving hydrangeas here instead. All right, well, for sure now, an hour and 20 minutes. Ridiculous, right? But thank you for watching any and or all parts of this. Again, whether you watched it in one sitting or maybe dipped in and out, or even if you only watched a segment, I hope that this has been helpful for you, and I hope that your gardening season is going well wherever you are. So, with that said, until next time, take care, stay safe, and choose love. We'll see you soon, friends.